Good morning here on KM Activities, your home for the KoMets, and yeah, it is morning. It's 8:46. In fact, you can probably see it on the screen. As I'm Joel McCall, we're welcoming in Joel Swanson, the head coach for Kasson football. It's a screen to a screen, coach. This is the new normal, isn't it?
This is the new normal. Yes, indeed.
Well, thank you again for taking some time before classes begin for this week at Kasson and for you guys, the KoMets, they get going for football this Friday. Obviously, the headlines the last week or so has been you guys were quarantined, weren't able to play your first game this past Saturday against Mankato East. However, you guys were, I think you were able to watch any section game you basically want to. So, did you get a chance to at least watch a little Faribault and how exciting that was? Double overtime?
Oh yeah, we got to watch the games. Had two or three up at least all the time, up on the screens and stuff. Uh, got back in the mode, that's for sure. Started trying to predict, oh, that guy moved over here. What are they going to be running? Things like that.
For sure. I'm sure some of the kids were probably watching the same thing. How about for the past 2 weeks, how difficult was this just to be sitting around and saying, boy, I wish we could have practice and I want to be around the kids?
Well, that's always the case. That you want to be around and you look forward to the start of the season. Uh, but but in something like this, it's more you're just hoping everybody's all right. Because what if it were to spread to 4 or 5 people? You hear about that in other schools. As the 2 weeks continue on, I heard about 4 or 5 other school districts where I know people where they completely shut down and stuff. So even though there's negatives to it, it could easily be going the other way too. So
For
be
sure.
thankful that we're through it. It didn't get worse than it could have, and we'll move on from it.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking a little bit off the air how much you guys were able to do prior to being quarantined for the whole team. What was the summer like? Because, again, how many opportunities did you even have to get together as a team?
What we did, we right away I pushed all of our dates. We were going to be doing stuff early in the summer, and then we were going to go to a camp and things. I pushed everything back right away. I shut stuff down already in early May. And so then we pushed things back to as late as we could for practices and things and get-togethers. And then the Minnesota State High School League even extended it a week later into the month of August. And so we kind of moved into that week as well and got out of a different one. So we were doing stuff as late as we could as possible. And then the Minnesota State High School League decided that we could have 3 weeks of practice. And so we took advantage of that and had things going for us. So we were probably ahead of most of the people early on, but obviously now it's been about a month since we've had all of our kids together.
Yeah, that's for sure. And well, let's start with from last year. What a successful season it was, making it to the section final. Have a lot of guys coming back. I want to start on the defensive side because obviously Jackson Kennedy, an all-district player from last year, he'll be one of those captains that you'll look for that leadership. How about the defensive side of the ball? You have a lot of returning players, coach, and there's a lot of talent there.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys. They kind of found their spot in the whole schematics of things and stuff. Uh, Jacob Arswald, he's been starting for us for 2 years at defensive end. We moved him up from being a free safety back in 10th grade when he weighed about 178 pounds. Kind of took his lumps there, has really learned the game pretty well. As you know, then Jackson Kennedy started for us as a sophomore. He had an injury, came back through all that. Mentally overcoming that hurdle too, that's a huge type of thing. Chase Bigelow came back out, got things under him. He's a person that really understands the game of football. Kyler Kuyak got a little bit of time. We switched spots with him. And it goes up and down the line of guys where we've kind of switched their positions and found the thing that works for them. Well, also, if we have a opening at different positions where we have graduations and stuff. So it'll be interesting. A lot of people are switching to different positions and things. And then we had to plan for that. We have to, with the quarantines and stuff, we also have to plan for guys learning 2-3 spots because what happens if all of a sudden on a Thursday night, our starter at this position can't go and things. So it's going to be a lot of depth things. It's going to be a lot of things where guys have to learn more than one position. So hopefully we benefit from the fact that I really believe in teaching the kids to understand the game, and so that they can make the adjustments on the field, and through it they kind of understand more than just my job. They don't memorize their job. They understand what we're trying to accomplish as a team.
Yeah, you got to have that versatility. I completely understand that. And on the offensive side, you talk about holes to fill. Well, there's a few of them. You know, Matt Donovan's going to step in as the starting quarterback, likely anyway. That's what I figured because that's who we saw last year. And will the offense look a little bit different with him under center?
Well, there's different things that he brings to the table. There's different things that Peyton Wilkie brought to the table. You try to balance the things again and take advantage of the kids' strengths and things. And we rotated different guys like out at receiver. And one thing that people kind of don't realize and stuff is like our receivers have to be able to block so well in our offense. And actually, the better blocker they are sets up their routes as far as receiving and things. And then if you end up with a receiver who's really good, then what you can do is really use that ability to run people off and get rotations going in coverage on him. The other thing we have guys that have been in the offensive line. I know Owen Bradford started all last year. Logan Lowers has been a two-year starter for us. So it's a great thing to have at least, a few guys so that they can help mold the guys around them as they come into play. Whereas if you got 5 new starters up on the line, the difficulty in that. Some of our wingbacks had experience. Even Jacob Arswald started some there last year, but we got other guys who have had experience playing there and stuff, so that's a plus. We have a trio of a bunch of different guys really taking a lot of reps at fullback. Gates Ryder graduated. We kind of committed to having him play full-time offense last year. He did a great job. And so the big thing is, and especially with this lack of time, is timing. Timing in a triple option offense, everything's timing, and each one of those guys is just a little bit different. Right now we've mainly had Jackson Kennedy, Brooks Buchanan, and Anthony Motucker. Basically, they've all taken about a third of the reps, and I believe you've got to be ready for it again. Such an important piece to your game. And what if all of a sudden one of them has to be quarantined at this time? So you've got to have multiple people working at those spots.
Yeah, and Cade was such a magnificent runner for you last year, and when you needed 2 yards, he almost always guaranteed those 2 yards. So yeah, hard worker, great runner for you last year. Let's talk about this week. You got Faribault, they're coming here. We already kind of talked about how you were able to watch them this past week. However, Coach, you have very limited practices, don't you? You only have 4 to get ready until Friday.
Well, most of us, a bunch of guys come out and they get their first day on Monday, and then the rest of us, we're finally all together as a team on Tuesday. So we got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get ready for a game. It's almost like when you go to summer camps and stuff, you can't hit until you've had so many days, and then you go at it. Yeah, so there's advantages, I guess, in that we got to see them, and they have advantages. They've got to work together and stuff. Whatever. It's all comes down to is hopefully our offense is simple enough, but it relies on unselfishness. So even though, like when we mentioned our fullback getting the 2 yards here and there, our fullback has to block a lot. If he doesn't make those blocks, we can't get things. So it takes a lot of unselfishness there. A lot of our plays, we have the same line calls for dual plays and stuff, and then the backfield action's different. Timing will be the big thing, and the fact of the whole relationship with the option of hitting at the same time and stuff. Definitely some advantages in that, yes, Matt Donovan is a guy who has worked there before, and Matt Donovan is always around the coach, being his father's one of our coaches on our staff and stuff. No doubt that is an advantage. You're sitting there talking things over at home or whatnot and stuff. And then, like I say, on defense, the big thing will be is that our kids understand the game better. They're making the calls. They're almost making the adjustments out there. You'd like to see that in some sort of scrimmage atmosphere, but obviously we don't have that this year.
Right.
I get worried about our special teams. I was worried about that from the get-go and the lack of time and putting all that together. And that still is something. But it's always going to come down to the same thing, the basics, blocking, tackling. We haven't done a lot of tackling against anything live and stuff, and so we'll see how our kids react to that. And then the almighty turnovers, especially in something like the option where it's a lot of timing.
Yeah, very true. Those crucial handoffs and all of those exchanges, got to make those clean. And I worry about injuries, to be honest with you, Coach. You're sitting out for so long, 2 weeks off, come back. We saw it with the NFL, see it in college. These kids didn't have that preseason and whatnot, even in college or the NFL, and we're seeing some devastating injuries and saw another one yesterday. So hopefully everybody stays healthy, and you guys are going to be ready to go on Friday.
Yeah, taking off on what you're saying, conditioning, I've been saying it to the kids. They got to step up and be leaders for themselves. Hopefully they've been doing things. I sent some things out there virtually that they could do to get themselves in shape. That will definitely, like you said, you can tell in college, you can tell in pros, those 2-3 weeks that they cut out of their training camps is showing up in the guys not being in game shape, and it will make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we wish you guys the best of luck coming up on Friday. I'm excited to call the game. Football Friday night coming up at KM Telecom Stadium, and we'll have Coach Swanson probably in a pregame interview. I'll round him up somewhere with my recorder for about 5 minutes. But Coach, thank you so much for taking some time this morning. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone, and go KoMets.
There you go. That's Joel Swanson, then head coach for Kasson Maryville football. I'm Joel McCall. We'll have soccer tonight, girls section, and just coming down, we are able to video the section tonight. So not just the scoreboard. We'll have the girls out on the field tonight when they host Austin. Thank you very much for tuning in here on KM Activities, your home for the KoMets.